is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. The MVP race has messed up a little bit, got all over the place, so I just wanted to tell you guys who my top 5 MVP candidates and honorable mentions is right now. The main reason why my MVP list changed a lot and why I'm updating it so late in the month is because a lot of teams fell off. That's just the truth. A lot of players got injured or they started putting up worse numbers, and it really shook up how the MVP race is. Now, a lot of the players are still the same. It just the order has changed. As teams have risen or have stayed at the top and teams have fell off or missed a lot of time, the order of this list has changed. And as the reigning 4-time MVP, LeBron James has continued to play spectacular. Can he go to number one, or does he have a better case now that he has beat the Clippers, the Bucks, and teams like that with their best players and at full strength? Is he now closer to MVP, or is he the MVP? Let's find out. Let's give you my honorable mentions first. Pascal Siakam, having Toronto at number 2 with no Kawhi Leonard, no DeMar DeRozan, but only Kyle Lowry. I think that's an amazing thing. Nobody really expected them to be this good. Even though I did have the Toronto Raptors finishing in the top 3 for the NBA Eastern Conference, nobody expected them to be as good as they have been on both ends of the court. Nobody really expected Pascal Siakam to be playing at an all-star caliber level, even though people felt like he should be an all-star last year. He had took a huge leap, especially in the beginning of the season, giving you almost 25 points a game and 10 rebounds. Obviously, those numbers had leveled out and had smoothed out over the season, and he came back down to earth. But he still is having a season that is all NBA worthy potentially, and that's probably better than what anybody would have thought if he can pull it off. But other than that, when you're getting wins and your team has a chance to finish top 2 in the conference, that's a very, very successful season, especially when it's your first season as the franchise guy and you just got your max contract in your first All-Star appearance. It'd be great to be in the MVP conversation, which he is, plus still also being in a situation where you can make the All-NBA team too on your first time being a franchise player. Kawhi Leonard, I think you definitely have to put him in this conversation. The Clippers are playing spectacular basketball. They're going out there beating everybody. I know they lost to the Lakers, but that's only one game out of their last couple. They beating teams like the Rockets and stuff like that. And I think that the Clippers have been spectacular on both ends of the court. I know they didn't play well and they turned the ball over and made a lot of mental mistakes, but the Lakers wanted the game more than the Clippers, and they went out there and took it. They went out there and got it. And that's something that the Clippers can't allow in the next game and in the playoffs. If you're not going to play your best basketball, if you're not going to play your smartest basketball, and if you're not going to play together, the Lakers have enough to beat you. And you still do have 4 games to beat them in the playoffs, but you have to figure it out now. And you have to be confident when you have the ball and make sure you're making the right decisions, because every game will count, because it's best of 4. Whoever wins those 4 games win the series. So hopefully the Clippers come with a better mentality and play a lot more smarter basketball so they don't end up on a losing end like they did on Sunday. James Harden, he has fell all the way down because his numbers have been terrible. His scoring numbers went from 38 a game all the way down to 34. His turnovers are up. The losses are racking up the last couple weeks. And he just seemed like psychologically he's out. He checked out of the season, it seems like. They're going to be a 50-win team. They're going to be a team that's going to still be in the playoffs. They're going to be a team that's going to most likely finish top 5 in the Western Conference, which is something that they always do. So all those things are a check, and his numbers are still going to be over 30 points per game, and he's most likely going to lead the NBA in scoring. So those things are all in check, and that's why I got to give him the top 5 place, even though he's only at 5th, just because what he has done for the overall season. But other than that, James Harden has took probably the biggest fall off of any superstar in the top 5, and that's why he's at the bottom of the top 5. And his efficiency hasn't been good from 3 or from the field either, and that's just a disaster. Hopefully he can figure it out before the playoffs start. They still do have a lot of games to figure it back out. It seems like teams are figuring them out and they haven't made the adjustments just yet. Give the Rockets about 2 more weeks to figure out how to defend and how to play against how teams are attacking them and defending them now. And they taking a whole lot of threes right now too. It seems like the only thing they want to do is shoot threes. They got to figure out a way to balance it out. Harden and Russell Westbrook have to both attack the paint and create, not just Russell Westbrook trying to attack the paint and create. Harden is settling for so many tough shots and so many threes that he does need to find a way to balance out getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line, and knocking down threes like he was doing it earlier in his season with the Rockets. And even if he has to get more assists, just because if you're going to shoot that many threes, you got to have another way to get them great opportunities, not just forcing them up and just continuing to shoot them just to shoot them. You have to get high quality threes, and that's what they did the seasons with Chris Paul, and that's what they're not doing no more in Houston. Number 4, Luka. He missed a couple games and they started losing. Plus, he hasn't won as much since him and Porzingis have come back and played together. So that's why he has dropped from top 3 to number 4, just because the winning has went down. Plus the injuries a couple weeks ago, they lost a lot of games. Plus he wasn't playing, so players passed him up or has remained to keep their spots, and he had to drop a little bit because of that. Other than that, not the greatest defender, but is a great playmaker, one of the best scorers in the league, being efficient, getting a lot of assists, getting a lot of rebounds, and taking over games. I just wish he stepped up a little bit more in the clutch. I feel like he can do a lot more in the clutch, but other than that, it's nothing. He's only in year 2, and he pretty much got the game figured out. He pretty much know who he is, and he pretty much knows what he can do and what he can't do, which is great for a young superstar at this point of his career. Plus, he got his team in the playoffs this year. The only problem is they're the 7th seed right now, but they still do, if they can figure it out before the season ends, they can move up even further, and that's going to increase his MVP chances, even though I doubt that he win it at this point. But he can move up into the top 3 again. But we'll see what happens. Number 3, AD. I think everybody's sleeping on AD. Everybody's talking about LeBron. But when you watch majority of the games, Anthony Davis is getting the rebounds. He's getting the blocks. He's getting the buckets. And he's still shooting over 50% from the field, over 80% from the free throw line. And he's still scoring more points per game than LeBron James this season. He averaging 26 plus he almost at 27, and LeBron is at 25. So we forget how great defensively and offensively and how versatile Anthony Davis is. Plus, he shows up for big games. When they needed him against the Bucks, he had 14 or 12 points in the fourth quarter and showed up when they needed him the most. Even when LeBron James could have took over, it's always great to have another player right there with you that can take over and balance out the scoring and take a lot of pressure, and somebody that you can trust and depend on both ends of the court is always great, and Anthony Davis has done that. This isn't surprising because I did have Anthony Davis number 2 before earlier this year. He fell off a little bit because of injuries and a little bit of inconsistency, but he has played great basketball throughout the season. It just hasn't been as great as the Dontages and the Hardens starting their seasons. But as the season continued to go on, they started to fall off. Their records started to fall off, and Anthony Davis has consistently played well when he's on the court. So I had moved him up, and since they started falling off and being injured and missing time and losing, I moved them a little bit down. But other than that, I always had Anthony Davis in the conversation, and that's why I moved him back up to 3 because he's playing on both ends of the court, and the Lakers have been the number one team in the Western Conference for basically the whole season. And it's not just LeBron, it's also Anthony Davis. But number 2 is LeBron. He's having a great season, third in NBA history in triple doubles, especially when he gets 30 points. It's spectacular what this man is doing. He's taking over in the fourth quarter. He's willing his teams to win. He's taking the threes. He's taking the big shots. He's trying to close the games. He's making the right play still. He's not just trying to take over and do whatever he can. He's also willing to trust his teammates and put them in positions to where they can succeed, even if it's giving him the matchup advantage and allowing them to get easy and open opportunities to knock down those shots. So to me, LeBron hasn't changed that much. He hasn't fell off that much. He ain't the same LeBron that won the first couple MVPs, but he also at his age is still having a great season. He having one of the best seasons at his age, to be honest. And for him to play the type of years that he has been playing, the minutes he's been playing, and also the being dependent on as much as he has been dependent on all season, and for him to stay healthy, and for him to take over, and for him to help this team stay at the top of the West, but basically the whole entire season and still have a gap at that number 1 spot. There's no way you can't put LeBron James at number 2. Now, what he would do to get number 1, the Bucks will have to continue to fall off. They lose to the Heat. They lose to the Lakers. They lose to the Phoenix Suns. So their record is starting to come back to normal. Giannis is going to miss a couple of games with the knee injury. If that becomes a big problem, that can help LeBron James close the gap. And if the Bucks record continue to fall off a little bit, that can help close the gap because they won't win the 70 and the records won't be that much of a distance. So that will hurt Giannis' argument. But other than that, number 1 is Giannis Antetokounmpo. His ability to be a better defender than basically everybody on this list. You have a case for him being Defensive Player of the Year legitimately this year with Gobert falling off a little bit. I did come into the season saying Giannis will be Defensive Player of the Year, and it looked like he has a legitimate chance of winning it if he can come back and get this Bucks team playing the way they was playing at the beginning of the season. But if they continue to fall off and he can't stay as healthy as he did in the beginning of the season, this won't be as much of a runaway as people think because LeBron James is playing consistent, dominant basketball and they're winning the big games and he's stepping up in the big moments and he's willing a lot of these teams to win, his team to wins against the best teams in the NBA. That's something that Giannis has done all season. Plus, he has dominated on both sides of the ball. Plus, he has become an excellent playmaker, a great rim protector, a great help defender, and a great finisher around the rim. I still think the free throw shooting is going to be a problem, especially in the playoffs, because they can always foul him or always force him not to finish around the rim and earn it at the free throw line. That's something he's going to have to figure out, especially in fourth quarters in the playoffs. And he's going to have to figure out how to consistently score if he can't get to the rim. If he don't figure those things out, it's going to be tough for him to win a title in Milwaukee because the role players, can you trust Brook Lopez, who has struggled from 3? Can you trust Eric Bledsoe, who comes up short a lot of the games, especially in the playoffs? And can Chris Middleton be trusted? He's been beat up a little bit. He hasn't played at that dominant elite level that he's been playing at in the last 2 months, which is a problem because this last month is playoff season, and this is how you win the title, playing your best basketball in the playoff season, which they're starting to fall off at. So I can't give LeBron the edge just right now because Giannis has played the most consistent, dominant basketball. Just because he's having a couple hiccups and his team is just now starting to lose a couple games and they still got a gap on the Lakers record-wise, I still have to give him the full season advantage as MVP. But it is getting closer than what people thought it would be. People thought it would be over by now. And even though it still is Giannis, I still have to give credit to LeBron and his ability to play at a dominant level this long. But other than that, check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link in the description in the comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for everybody that likes on Facebook. Thanks for everybody that continues to like the video. And if you already liked it already, thanks for liking. Thanks for the love and the support. Also, like I said in the beginning of the video, you can check out my Spreadshirt. That will be in the links in the description in the comment section below. Click the Spreadshirt. You can buy plenty of merchandise. And if you buy the merchandise, thanks for the love and the support. And also, you can buy on Facebook. There you can find t-shirts. You can find different color t-shirts if you want. And you can also change the logo on the t-shirt and the color of that t-shirt, and I can get it shipped out to you if you message me. But other than that, let me know who you think is MVP. Let me know who you think should be the MVP, and let me know if you think LeBron is the MVP now. Is it still Giannis? And do you think it can get closer, or do you think he can overtake Giannis by the time the season is over? Whatever you feel, whatever you think, let me know in the comment section below. This is Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis, signing out. And let me know who is your MVP and who you think gonna win it by the end of the season. I'm gone.